Hello, folks. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, when or wherever you may be. Uh, Today, I'm going to be talking about something that has been highly publicized in the media lately, especially in Europe and also in the United States. But I think you should always, or also, also see the reaction in other parts of the world, especially in Asia. I think you should see it too, which is the deployment of European troops for war games in Greenland. I'm going to tell you this. In 100 years or 50 years, neither of us will be here. Uh, People are going to be looking back at this moment, and they are going to see it as the pivotal moment when the American dominance and American, so let's call it the American alliance with no restraints, let's call it like this, ended. And I don't care, frankly, what some Americans are saying, that they need to do this and they need to do that, they need to elect a Democrat to be in power in order to restore these relationships and all of this. But I will tell you this: it's over. It's over, sorry. From the moment Europeans were forced to do this, have this action of placing troops as a warning. This was just a warning, okay? I know a lot of people are seeing this as this and that, but some people don't see the big picture. And I'm not trying to make myself better or bigger than anyone else, okay? Understand me. But this is my opinion. This is my view, and it's substantiated in what I see, in the opinion of experts, and what I know about history, which is my personal hobby, and how human patterns, be it social or cultural, repeat themselves over time. And this is something that is interesting because there are two things that are a common trait to every type of human, from ethnicity to culture. I don't even like to use the word ethnicity. You should use culture, because there are people with similar so-called ethnicity that have completely different cultures. But let's call it like this. These are two things that are always common: music and patterns of repeated behavior. Meaning, when confronted with different situations, in this case patterns, in music, because we can all understand each other's music and appreciate the sound, the tone, it is processed, and all of that. And patterns, because humans behave in a similar way whenever they are confronted with similar events or environments. Okay, we have this tendency. It's absolutely normal, because I know a lot of people like to think we are made at the image of God, but we are basically animals with what we call being sentient. But we are animals, all of us, me, you, everything that walks and crawls upon this earth. We are basically animals because we have needs, we have behaviors, we have patterns that we follow, uh, that are guided by what we would call instinct. I would call it environmental logic, meaning you as a creature that needs to have its necessities satisfied, and that needs to exist in an environment, you will follow the patterns that satisfy and suit your needs. And as humans, we all have similar similar needs. Me, a white European Caucasian, okay, and an Australian bushman uh, in the middle of Australia. We all need the same things. We need water. I'm talking about basic needs, okay? We need water, we need food, we need shelter, and we even need social companionship, a group to integrate into existing. Even if we exist sometimes as more isolated units, so to speak, but we all live in societies. Okay, this is what humans need. So when I'm telling you that this pattern is repeating itself right now, you have to understand this. Europe, and don't think it's just the Nordic countries and France and Germany, whatever, that put troops in the United Kingdom, that put troops in there. No. This is all of Europe, all of Western Europe, at least. And Eastern Europe, okay, Poland and all that. You have to consider this. This is Europe. This is not just these individual countries. Portugal has military alliances with, for example, the UK. We also have them with France. This means where the UK, if the UK, for example, is fighting a war against the United States, this is what we are talking about. In Greenland, Portugal would mandatorily have to support the United Kingdom. This is an example. I'm just talking about this alliance because despite all its hiccups, all its betrayals, and whatever you want to call it, this is history, over the years, this has continued to exist. And when our backs are against the wall, it has worked out. So this is all I'm going to talk about this. It would take a long comment and in a long historical setting in order to explain this. But this is what we have here. You should not look at this as some, oh, there they go, they are just showing Trump this. No, they are not showing Trump. They are showing the world. They are saying this. We have nothing to do with what these lunatics are doing. We are keeping this alliance for now. But if he continues down this path, then we are leaving. We will not protect them. We will not support them. We have nothing to do with the actions of this person, of this government, and by association of this state. This means, for example, that imagine that the United States starts a conflict, I don't know, with Mexico, for example. This would mean automatically a complete shutdown from Europe. Europe would shut down supply lines. It would not help the United States, and NATO would end. Simple as that. Because you see, the reactions of Europe to Venezuela already, they were bad. How am I going to explain this in a term that an American might understand? And I'm not trying to say Americans are dumb. It's not that. When a European looks at you and sees you do something wrong and tells you, please, calm down, stop doing that and do things properly, this does not mean he's approving your actions. This means they are telling you something like, stop acting up, you idiot. What the hell are you doing? Stop that. Stop that, or I'm not going to help you anymore, and I'm going to cut you off completely. This is what this means. And this is exactly what most of Europe told the United States. They told him, told the United States, calm down and stop this shit. This is not right. We are not going to support this shit. You better stop it. This is exactly what the United States allies told the United States. And those Republicans and those other characters that either came here to Europe or that online or via diplomatic routes, they spoke with the EU, with Denmark, with Greenland, whatever. What these people were telling them was saying them, look, please, calm down. We are not going to support this shit, okay? This is just the lunatic talking. This is basically what we have here. And I am looking at this shit, and I'm seeing what American media, even the Democratic American media, are saying, and they only know half the truth. Fox News and all of that shit, it's the same repetitive narrative of supporting whatever the Orange Fool says. So they, for me at least, they are as valid as information source as asking a Papua New Guinea nomad what he thinks about nuclear fusion. Okay, it's absolutely zilch, zero, nothing. It's not news, it's not media, it's nothing. Okay, it's just people screaming and talking shit and saying. At the most, you get half truths in Fox News. They even added cheers when Trump was having his little military parade with the squeaky tank. They even added cheers to that, okay? Outside of the United States, we saw that same parade in all its glory of silence, of shame, and of utter ridiculousness. To an European, all of this American shit, it's ridiculous. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I am not some pompous little shit, okay, living on welfare or some crap like that, or perhaps a rich guy that spends his day sitting at the coffee shop, having his espresso, and complaining about, oh, how loud these American tourists are. I'm not that shit. I'm a working person. I educated myself, just like my parents educated themselves, just like they educated me, but I have been working every fucking day of my life. I started when I was around 12, and I still have not stopped. I don't take sick days unless I need them, unless I'm physically incapable of doing my job. I work in a, we could call it office job. Right now, I won't talk about my work. I have hinted a bit about what I do, but it's a demanding work. It's a high responsibility work. And I do it. Even when I'm sick. Last week, it was a shitty week of working every hour of the day. From the start of my shift, from the start of my work day, until the end. Okay, I have 1 hour for lunch every week. I work from Monday to Friday, usually. And I've been working since I was 12. I was a baker, patisserie maker. Okay, I'm what would call a baker first class and a junior patisserie maker, if you want to be accurate about it. I was a bouncer. Okay, I laid bricks. I did farm work. I did security jobs. I did a lot of things. And then, when I was in my late 20s, I began to do the work that I do currently. I know what I'm talking about. I know how to give a value to hard work. I also know how to give value to the time that you need to do things like this, like recording this video. It's Sunday, right now. And I know the value of taking time to educate yourself, to understand the world you live in, and to understand the consequences of your own actions. And you don't get that in American news. You don't get educated. If you are an American, almost every European news channel has an English version. And if it doesn't have, you have apps to translate things. There is no excuse for being a dumb bastard, for believing in this shit, for believing in crazy conspiracy theories. I've been hearing the weirdest shit in my life. The wackiest one was Trump has found there are pyramids under the ice of Greenland and he wants to prevent the Russians from stealing that technology. Are you fucking insane? Are you insane? You people are completely mad. You live in a loony world. And you want us to trust you? I would sooner trust in a medieval executioner with a head fetish. The trust is gone. Do you understand this? Even if things in the future, if you are able to get rid of this lunatic, even if things in the future get better, they will never be the same. Never, ever. That trust is gone. Are you listening to me? Gone. You have my generation, you have all the generations behind me, you have the generations forward. They are all going to remember this moment. Everyone in Europe is saying, get a EU army up and running as fast as possible. And it won't just be a EU army. It will include countries outside of the EU in Europe. There are a few, UK for example. But this is going to go forward. You don't know, for example, you don't know that Canada, perhaps you know, is already in the SAFE project here in Europe. And in the weapon procurement, we are tightening economic ties. We have finished the agreement with Mercosur, despite the protests of a lot of people. But that is usual, that is normal, and that is democratic, which is a word you don't know what it means. There is a railway being built between Europe and China, completely bypassing Russia. It's going to haul cargo via rail between Europe and China and Europe in less than 40 days. First estimates, it will be 44 days. Latest estimates, it will be under 40 days. With highway transportation system, it will be around 30 to 20 days. I will ask you to do this. Go in your search engine and search how long does it take to bring cargo from China or from Europe to China, whatever. Go and Google that. Or better yet, go and use your search engine for that. Because I'm even going to start boycotting Google, probably. I will only use it for what I really need. Even going to get an email account in another place, going to do it all. Because I'm tired of you. And my social media is these YouTube channels. I have more than one, but we are talking about this one, and I don't usually promote my other endeavors in this channel, especially in this channel that is a channel that I have purposely made non-monetized. I will probably never monetize this channel. It's my purpose. But this is just the only social media that I have, because American social media is disgusting. It's disgusting. Some people say, "Oh, it's a good source of information." No, it's a good source of shitty information. I prefer to go directly to the websites of the countries. I prefer to go to journalistic sites and see things for myself, not filtered to a bias way of watching. Like having to censor words, like having to censor specific words in your comments, or else some American twat is going to scratch your video. Do you realize how ridiculous this is? And what you have to understand is that all of this is getting up in our minds, in our European minds. People here are getting tired and bored and annoyed at you. We are getting annoyed at you, at your tourists. We are getting annoyed at your companies, and we are especially getting annoyed at your dumb rulers. You elected that idiot twice. Bush Jr. was a mild comic relief compared to this lunatic. Because Bush Jr., at least, he had good advisors that told him what to do. You have this guy with a free range on doing anything. Oh, it's the art of the deal. He's doing that to pressure you into having better trade deals and whatever. Okay, you want to know the latest? The U.S. cancelled the trade agreement it had with the United States. Now tariffs are back in the game. This means your companies that are selling in Europe, your companies that are producing inside of Europe, are going to pay those tariffs. Because around here, for example, if Coca-Cola wants to bottle Coca-Cola here and sell it, from what it sells, it's going to pay tariffs on their profit, meaning they are going to take a cut equivalent to the tariffs on their profit. Ford is installed here for many years. It's one of the few American car companies that has been able to have a steady foothold on the European market. And I don't like Ford cars. Don't like them. They spend way too much gas, and I don't like the type of car. This is my personal taste. But they do sell. Tesla, well, Tesla is dead and gone. It's going to be completely eradicated as people get rid of the Tesla cars that they have. So that's dead weight already. But they that are producing here, they are going to pay tariffs on their profit too. But you don't know that now, do you? A company makes X amount of money in Europe. If they want to send it back to their headquarters in the United States, they are going to have to pay tariffs just like they pay taxes on that profit. So they transfer, I don't know, 1,000 euros back to the United States. They are going to pay the taxes on them, and if there is a 25% tariffs plus the 10% tariffs that were 35% tariffs, then they are going to pay 35% of that 1,000 euros in tariffs that are going to stay as taxes in Europe. And then when that profit arrives at the United States, since it comes from Europe, where they got that profit, they are going to pay the same tariffs that the United States is applying to those to that profit in there. 60-70% tariffs plus taxes. I have told you before, I have told you this before, economics is not hard to understand. Microeconomics, simple economics, let's call it like this, because macro and micro would have another connotation, and anyone that knows economy would tell you that. But simple economics is not hard to understand. It's something that is very clear, that is very practical, that you can understand. Anyone can understand it. But what this man is doing with all of his actions is, before he was burning bridges, right now he is blowing up bridges. And if he does advance with Greenland, you want to know what is going to happen? You can look up a lot of channels and they will tell you the consequences in further detail. But first thing is first. All American citizens living in Europe or that are in Europe at that moment will be considered persona non grata, meaning residents, except for people perhaps married with a European spouse or something like that, or if their children are half European, dual national citizens, they will be considered persona non grata and repatriated to the United States. First consequence, the simple one. Second consequence, all American companies working in Europe that have assets in Europe, bank accounts, whatever, all frozen, all seized. And after that, a lot of things can happen. They can be nationalized, meaning the state will take over it or sell it to competitors in the European market, or from foreign companies from other places in the world working in the market. Air traffic will be completely halted. Only humanitarian flights will be allowed, and diplomatic flights will be allowed. All the rest is completely frozen. Air traffic in the United States will also become very hard, since you will not have the your Euro dependence on on European aircraft made parts, and you won't be able to get them elsewhere. It's here. Okay. Medicine. Your medicine market will crash in days, because if you don't know this, you depend on most of your medicines that come from Europe. They also from China, also from India. Sanctions. All of your companies will be sanctioned. Your media companies will be either forced to have headquarters in Europe that will work according to European rules and be strictly monitored, just like they are now. So it would probably be just a question of detaching them from American, any kind of American control. You won't be able to access our commercial data. You won't be able to access absolutely nothing. Your bases will also be emptied. You will be forced to leave immediately from European grounds, or your soldiers will and might be arrested and detained. This is just for start. And this is what Fox News is promoting in the news in the United States. And you ask me, why do I think they are crazy? Do you really realize what you are doing? What you are supporting? And I'm talking to the magazine, all of you. You don't. Well, you will know soon. And let me tell you this also. And if I'm here in 5 years' time, we will see. If we are all here, anything can happen. All of this is not going away. Even if you get a democratic president that is a sane person, a normal person, even if you got Bernie Sanders as your president, poor guy, he's so old and he's still screaming the truth. Most of what he says is the truth, in my opinion. Most of it, what he says is valid. I personally like the man. He's still a self-entitled American, but he's a sane one. Even if you get a person like that, you will not have the same goodwill. And with this Greenland shit, if you are an American and you are traveling to Europe, I will advise you to be very careful. Or put a Canada sticker in your baggage so people will not confuse you, will think you are Canadian. But even that won't work because we can smell it from 100 miles around. I don't think anyone in America, and a couple of people here in Europe too, the more distracted ones, really understand what a pivotal moment we are living. If it's like what I was telling you. If before he was burning bridges, now he's blowing them up. I don't see how the United States will be able to hold the World Cup or the Olympics. Personally, I was already boycotting them. I know that at least almost 20,000 tickets have been returned to FIFA. And people are losing money for returning the tickets. But they are returning them because they are not going to go to the United States. You have, I don't think it's 70 or 90 countries or whatever that have their visas cancelled to the United States, so these people won't go either. In my opinion, what FIFA should do, instead of giving prizes like Maria Corina Machado gave her Nobel medal to Trump. Now, that is an excellent. And look, before I was proud, before Maria Corina Machado, before of that I was proud that her parents or grandparents were Portuguese. Before that I was proud. Right now I'm disgusted, and I'm glad that she's Venezuelan, and I hope that she doesn't get her dual nationality, or that she doesn't has a dual citizenship. Excuse me. So that she can run off here to Portugal. I hope that she doesn't get it. Because she doesn't deserve it. She's a growling little, I won't call her that name because I have respect for women. But any women in my comment section, you can call her what she is, and I will let it stay. You cannot growl to a bully. You kick him in the teeth. Even if he beats you up, you kick him in the teeth. And I learned that. I was bullied. One day. And the second day, I kicked their asses. With all means available to me. But that's a personal story and another story. Now, I would like you to take these words that I have talked with you about, take these concepts and think about the long-term consequences, because this will have long-term consequences. And to say, like I have heard some people say, if you're not supporting the United States, then you are supporting Russia, you're on Russia's side. I tell you this, go fuck yourselves. I'm not in the side of fucking Russians. Russia is the same shit as the United States right now. Or better yet, the United States, to me right now, it's the same thing as Russia. You want to know what I want from Russia? what I want from Russia is for the Russians to get the fuck out of Ukraine and to go freeze their asses in Siberia. I don't care what happens to them, because they don't care, obviously, what happens to us. They don't care about bombing Ukrainian cities and having Ukrainian people freezing to death. They don't care about murdering civilians. They don't care about cutting communication cables in the North Sea. They don't care about anything. They don't care about undermining Europe by paying off extremist politicians. So I don't care about them. I want them. They want to live in their peaceful isolation. Okay. Close the borders. But I mean, close the borders. No road traffic, no rail traffic, no air traffic, no sea traffic. Nothing. Simply shut down the border, shut down the news, shut down everything, and let them rot in the ice. Because that is how Russians are treating us. We cannot have that criminal association polluting the rest of Europe. This is what I want from Russians. And from Americans, you want to know what I want from Americans? Fuck off to across to the sea. Go into your Fanta Fuhrer paradise and fuck off. Because I'm tired of this. I am absolutely tired of this lunatic endangering everyone. Endangering himself. Endangering us. Creating chaos, creating havoc, all of this emotion, all of this lack of logic, all of this lack of common sense. Look, I'm really tired about this, okay? I'm tired. I came back to record a couple of videos, but I think I'm going to start recording videos about other political realities, okay? But the problem here is that the actions of this lunatic infect everything. You cannot talk about something, for example, you cannot talk about Brexit without talking about the American lunatics. Because, as I came to understand, I am really not unsure that it was not both America and Russia promoting this shit, because it interests them both. And as I told you, when you want to know who caused an event, look for the money trail, and you will find it. And right now the money trail goes both sides of the Atlantic. It goes to Siberia, and it goes to Washington. So I'm really not sure if they were not working together from the very start, just like they did during the Cold War. And we, Europeans, don't want that shit anymore. We want you to leave us alone. We want you to leave Greenland alone, leave Canada alone, leave everyone alone. Stay in your beautiful America. Okay? Stay there, eat your chemical cakes. Okay? Parade around in your homeless towns. Do all of that shit. And leave us the fuck alone. Or else, you are going to get it. Because right now, you want to know what is going on in every government in Europe since you started this shit. They have been accelerating the programs of rearming the country. Even here I saw it. While people around here were distracted with the presidential elections this weekend, I was looking into other things and I was seeing how they are doing. If this is little Portugal that has a good army but not a mass army, okay? If you talk about our special troops, they are some of the best in Europe. Our spies, so to speak, are also excellent. They are able to blend in anywhere. But we don't have a mass army, okay? We don't have a large tank division. We don't have big ships and all of that shit. No. We have a lot of ships. We have submarines. We have all of that. We have jets. But if even here I have seen this. Imagine countries like France and Germany. Well, but the Americans wanted to wake up the giant. If countries in Europe separated, did what we did, imagine what we are going to do together. And then you will realize why China is trying to establish trade and geopolitical ties with Europe. But you are too worried listening to the dramas of your government and of your life to understand this. But I maybe will make another video about that relationship of China with Europe. That's a subject for another video, and it needs to be properly studied. Now, thank you very much for listening to my rant. Sorry for a couple of interruptions. Sorry. And I hope to catch you all in the next one.